Got a lot going on this morning. I've got some ground pork cooking in here. And for my breakfast this week, like before, I will cook this in a casserole. I just got to cook it up first. So that, and then my eggs, and then some cheese. I've been going to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I have these, I purchased these hard-boiled eggs because, yes, I am that lazy. So I've been taking a very whole food ketovore approach. So for me, that looks like for how that looks is I have my carnivore style breakfast. And then I have in here, I've got 93% ground beef cooking. I did this last week and I had it for both meals. And I really enjoy it. I just add whatever I want to add to it for flavor. Sorry. I don't, this past time, several times, I don't season it in the crock pot because I use the leftover juices and fat, and I put it in a container and add it to my dog's food every day so they get a little bit of that good whole food flavor to their processed kibble. So anyway, so I've got this going and it is on low today, so I remembered, yay. So last week I only had 11, so this is 2 of the 4 because they're from Walmart, 2 of the 4.5 ounces of the packages, and then 1 of the 2.25 packages. And what I did was I put it out into 10-ounce portions. So for me, hang on, let me set y'all down just a second. I'll let you look at my messy kitchen counter. For me, the keto, carnivore has done such a great job for me. It has helped me with my addiction to food. It has helped me with my addiction to sweets, my addiction and laziness for processed food. So it has helped me so much, and it has given me so much. Sorry, I'm chopping up my pork here. Just a second. If you mass cook and you don't have one of these jobbers, you are missing out. This is the best meat breaker aparter that I've ever had. Anyway, sorry. So carnivore did so much for me, and I will forever be grateful. And some of my meals are carnivore, but some of the at least one time a day, they're not right now. How's that going to look in the future? I don't know. Am I going to keep doing that? I don't know. But right now, because I'm trying to lower the bulk and take a more keto approach, because one thing I have always read in the carnivore group is that, oh, if you want to lose weight, then you do keto. Carnivore is for your health. Well, that's great, and carnivore did so much for my health as well. But my health was bad because of all the processed junk. So I wanted to show you this spread because my keto/ketovore looks more what I consider a whole foods type approach. The only thing processed that I really buy is pork rinds, and that's still only 2 ingredients. And I do cheat, and I buy the shredded cheese, so that's processed. The hard-boiled eggs has citric acid in eggs. So that's a preservative, is the citric acid. But it doesn't seem to bother me. The majority of everything else is things like whole, like a whole asparagus, straight out of the produce section, but straight out of a garden. Eggplant, cabbage, peppers. So for me, my ketovore, whatever I'm going to call this, I have no idea. It doesn't have to have a label. That's the thing. We always label stuff, and we don't need to label stuff. We are humans. We take a human approach. I don't have to have a label for how I eat. I'm just eating a proper human diet. And a proper human diet is foods that a human would have eaten 200 years ago, before they made everything out of chemicals in a factory. So for me, that's what I'm trying to focus on, because it's how I feel best. And I feel really good right now. Here, this is another something process. Before I go to the gym, I didn't at first use any kind of electrolytes. And I would go to the gym, I'd work out, and I'd get real dizzy. And then I'd come home, and throughout the morning, I felt dizzy. I wasn't hungrier at the time or anything, but I just get these in an instant, like it would start that fast and stop that fast. So in that amount of time of the snap is how quick the dizzy would come and go. So I was like, well, maybe something's going on. And so I read a little bit and did a little research on some people and some pre-workouts. And this one doesn't, I'm not going to lie, it doesn't give me any boost of energy. Like it says clean energy. It's clean, all right. There's no sugars. It's keto, paleo, and vegan friendly. It says it improves performance, promotes hydration, improves capacity and muscle recovery, boosts energy and increases energy. Well, that part it doesn't do, because I went to the gym now, and afterwards I still have to come home and have a little cup of coffee, because it really doesn't help my energy all that much. But it does make me feel good. And so I know that as I'm working out, I need that extra boost of electrolytes. So, sorry, chopping up the pork again. Anyway, back to what I was rambling about. My personal opinion is, for me, and this is just for me, I really want to take a whole foods approach. I want to be able to go to a restaurant and not be so obsessed with the fact of I can only have meat. If I eat vegetables, it's going to tell me I'm going to no longer be a carnivore. Or no, I will not. I'm telling you this. I'm not going to have bread, and I'm not going to add carbohydrates to my diet that are not vegetable source. I'm still not going to eat fruit, not going to eat sugar, not going to eat sweeteners, and again, trying to truly avoid processed things. Those Egg Life wraps, I know they're processed because there is like one ingredient in there, but I haven't even had those. I've just been eating my meat in whatever way I've added to it, and these whole vegetables, and some vinegar and some salt and pepper or seasonings. So I'm still doing as much of a whole food approach. Scale is staying the same, but that's a good thing in my opinion, because one of my coworkers is a constant fitness workout person. She works out for years and years and teaches and stuff, and she said that as my body's adjusting to the gym and building up muscles, she said what your body does is it holds on. Sorry, your body will hold on to the fluid, and so you will retain fluid and not lose weight. So I mean, hey, that's okay. For me, you know, I'm going to the gym to kind of just see if I can get things going again, burn some calories or something, just improve my body. And I'm hoping that in this, you know, by eating and changing my eating and going to the gym, I'm hoping in the end it all will, you know, kick myself back into weight loss. So I'll show you how I put all this together, all the vegetable part. And I'm still putting them in these little glass containers. I had some people at work brings me some. What I need to do is just break down and buy some of these buy a bunch of this size right here. I know people that are full keto and take salads in jars all the time. But anyway, because the mouths, here's the deal. When I'm putting the vegetables into my jar, I probably buried under all this. Maybe not. Where the heck is I put it? Oh, it's over here. So what I do, I take this funnel, and after I put all the vegetables together, I do that. And then I put my vegetables down in there, and then I pour the vinegar solution into it. Well, that's great with those wide mouth jars, but I've got a bunch of these, like this was a ragu, and it's not liquid, so it's not like it, you know, makes a big mess. But it's like, oh, if this could just be just a little bit smaller, it'd be perfect. But anyway, so what I need to do is take my tail to Walmart and buy some more. Although I do have some downstairs that my mom gave me a few years ago when I thought I was going to start canning. But that was before the outside started stinking after I got the Rona. Anyway, so I'm going to process stuff and put it all together and show you what, some of the other things I add banana pepper rings. Of course, these have different ingredients, but there's still no sugar in them. And I also add marinated artichoke hearts. I bet you I won't have to buy these again. I'm going to use them because I got them. But they have, what I don't like, okay, I see the hearts, water. What I don't like is the vegetable oil, which is sunflower and olive oil, which, okay, olive oil, I don't cry on that one. And there's vinegar, salt, spices, garlic, ascorbic acid, turmeric, and paprika, saffron. So anyway, I won't cry over the olive oil, but the sunflower oil, I don't know much about that. But when I do when I make up my casserole to bake, I do spray it with this avocado oil. I spray my thing with it. And I spray half my counter with that too, as you can see. Oh, and I also will add, you'll see me making it a little bit. But like I said, I'm not looking to add more things than are carnivore and ketovore and keto friendly. I'm not trying to take and stop my way of eating. That's definitely not what I'm trying to do. I'm just tired of the dogmatic hyper-focused situation for the time being. Like I said, 3 months from now, I may be like, Why'd you all let me do that? You all knew I shouldn't have eaten that way. I may be fussing at y'all for not, which maybe you will, I don't know. But fuss at me in the comments. I may be like, why didn't you all stop me? But like I said, it's just something I've read all over the Facebook group, and keto is for weight loss. And because of that, I have also, with keto, I've been looking at my macros and looking at my calories, which I know calories is not a huge thing, but I'm still looking at my fat and protein and calorie ratio, like they tend to have people do when they're doing keto. So I am still looking at, doing the whole approach, which is definitely more work than carnivore. But I got some pretty big ADD and ADHD some days, and so it's just easier sometimes to go with whatever my mood is. And right now I'm kind of antsy, and I'm tired of not seeing the scale move. And when you get tired of something like that, you kind of have to try a different approach and see what happens. So that's the stage I'm at now. I'm taking a different approach to see what happens. I'm gonna crack these eggs and I'll get back with you. Okay, got that broken up. It's funny, they all hear that word, those 2 letters, and they all come running. When I say okay, they're like, oh, is she talking to us? Does that mean she's going to give us something? I will forever also be grateful to carnivore, because I am a lazy person. I don't like doing a bunch of cooking in the evening time. So I did some meal prep before keto or before carnivore, but man, not on the scale I do it now. And I will forever be grateful, because now I know what real meal prep is. So I am such a lazy eater. Cooker, not eater, I guess. I don't know. Salt and white pepper. But by being able to do everything on the weekend, then all I have to do when I get home from work, when I'm tired and don't want to be bothered, all I gotta do is feed the dogs and microwave my food. And that is all I have to do. In the mornings, I wake up, like I said, on the days I work out, I drink my meal or my pre-workout, and on days that I don't. But I can say what I'm starting to do, and this is nothing to do with how I eat, but I am starting to feel, I guess because it's summer and I talk a lot, but I'm starting to notice that I'm more drier lately. And so something I've tried to do is, like, even on days when I don't work out, is chug, because I have to chug this with my pre-workout, which obviously I haven't chugged it yet, and then chug one on the days I don't work out, just because I don't drink a lot all the time, and lately I've really not been drinking either. And this is the Colby Jack cheese I'm putting on top, and lately I have not been drinking. And so just kind of chugging that kind of forces me to get it. So last week I forgot to post the video from last week, but it was just of me cooking the ground beef and my casserole here. So you didn't miss much, but anyway, last week I shredded my cheese and everything, and I just don't feel any difference. So I'm just not going to break my neck about it. I'm not going to cry one way or the other about it. I figure if I'm mostly doing non-processed stuff, and obviously, this processed, I got some processed, this has some processed. That's, I don't know, but it's processed, fake stuff, but it's still electrolytes. And this, processed, and these. I do these 3 days a week. If that's the only thing processed I'm eating, then I'm pretty dadgum happy. So we're going to see how this all works. Now I'm going to get things chopped up, and I'll show you the next step of what I've been doing. It's the artichoke hearts. Pouring the liquid off. I don't know if it's good or bad, but then what I do with this, or before I started saving the juices for the dogs, a lot of times I just take it out in the front yard and pour it out, and that's what I'll be doing with this, because I don't need it. Like I said, that's sunflower oil and stuff. I don't need any of that. This is, look, I cut a cucumber up a couple days ago, so I'll put that in there. And I cut, a coworker brought in some vegetables, so there's some zucchini. So I can tell you for real, if you would have told me, well, even 5 months ago, but if you would have told me my whole life that someday I would be eating and wanting and craving vegetables, I would say you were stark raving mad. I would have laughed at you. I've heard people say things like that my whole life, and in my head I'm like, who does that? People are weird. And now it's like the highlight of my day. I get so excited at lunchtime now that I'm eating these. And I did with meat also, don't get me wrong. But I think, I don't know, your taste buds change. And whether mine is from, the past year and a half of not having anything but meat, or whether it's from COVID, I have no idea. But I think your taste buds change, and so I'm going to cut this bad boy up. You don't have to see me do that. I kind of just go side to side until I get big chunks of it. So I'll show you when that's done. I had bought 2 big onions a couple weeks ago, and I cut them all up. And I like the taste of onions, so I'm going to put some in here. This one, I think, was a white onion. I'm such a knucklehead, I mixed them up, and one was white, one's yellow. I don't know which one's which. And there's probably a way to tell when you look at them or smell them or something, but I sure don't know it. And I'd also cut up a red one. I love red onions, but I pull those out and eat them. Like, You know, like sometimes I just eat them. And so I'm only got one little Ziploc baggie left of them. So next time I'll know to buy 3 red onions. So now that's the onions, and they'll thaw out, hopefully. Like I said, then the lady at work brought me some of her cucumbers and a zucchini, so I'm just going to cut these up. I won't make you watch that part, but like I said, I just want you to kind of see what all I've got here. One thing I'm wondering, you know, you can buy those 3-pack. Well, it has all 3 colors of peppers with some onions in it. And it's frozen. And they're already cut up. And I'm wondering, like, how those would work if they defrosted and what's in them. Like, what kind of, if there's anything that, like an added ingredient. I have some in my freezer. I'm going to look in just a second. Let's take a look. I won't use them this time, but for the future. Let's see. It says yellow onion, red bell pepper, and green bell pepper. Okay, so no added anything. That's cool. So next time, or when I run out of onion, I might try those, because I do add some peppers. So anyway, all right, I'm going to chop this up and I'll get back with you. Here's something I do not miss about, or I miss, I don't know which way to say this. Something I did not feel sad about when I was eating carnivore. You don't have to worry about it being something that goes bad. You don't have to worry about you do have to worry about buying meat that's bad, but you can look at it and in the store and look at the date, you know. But vegetables, like a couple of these peppers, they just, whenever I went to cut into them, it's just something I haven't had to think about in, you know, a year and a half. And so I just had to cut off part of 3 of these peppers because they looked like they would be going bad. That section of it had gone bad. So you don't have to deal with that in carnivore. So if you're looking at me and you're like, gee, I think I should maybe not eat just meat too, well, keep that in mind. And like I said, I'm not doing this for trying to teach anybody to do this something or do not do something. I'm just doing my journey. This is my weight loss journey, and this is what I'm doing to get to where I want to be. And someday I'll be able to look back on this and be like, oh yeah, I remember when that scale was stuck for 6 months, and I remember that's when I started eating vegetables again. Or that's why I started eating vegetables again, or whatever I'll think in that moment. And of course I always make too much. I have a problem with that. I've always had a problem with that. I can't just make enough. But when I'm done, this will last me 2 weeks. What I did before and what I won't do again, I I poured the liquid on this vegetables after I was done and just kind of let it sit. Well, then whenever I had to put it into the jars, it was not easy. It was kind of a mess. So I'm thinking that by leaving the liquid out, it'll be a lot easier to I can just pick some up and get them into the jar, and then pour the liquid in after all the jars are full. I can see how much liquid is needed in each jar. I like my peppers kind of sliced, but kind of chunky too. So you just cut yours up if you choose to make this. You just cut yours up in whatever size bits and pieces you like. Whew. Wash my hands here just a second. Like I said, I am somebody who does not seem to have trouble with the vegetables. It doesn't seem to cause me any problem. I do feel the same eating the vegetables as I felt eating the meat only. So that is why this, for me, is fine. Oh shoot, I still gotta cut up the eggplant. I had to look to see if it's okay to eat eggplant raw, because I like raw stuff. You know, I like this little mix I've been making, and I wasn't sure if this is okay to eat, but it seems like it is. So if I die after y'all see this video, don't eat raw. Oh, I forgot the raw stuff. Don't eat raw eggplant if you see that I'm dead, or if you never see another video from me again. With my ground beef, I've been doing some different things with it. I do different seasonings on it each time I eat it. It's not necessarily new things that I hadn't done before, but I still enjoy taking the Greek seasoning and adding some feta cheese, or taking Italian dressing or Italian seasoning and Italian cheese. I have bought some of that Rouse pasta sauce, the red pasta sauce. I do not use very much. I use like 1 or 2 tablespoons with some seasonings and cheese. I do some a little bit of tomato paste. Like I said, I'm just allowing myself some other flavors since my taste buds have kind of changed a lot over the past year and a half. I was finally able to this morning. You know, I had COVID last September, and this morning was the first time I've been able to go just sit outside. 1, it felt a lot cooler, but 2, it didn't stink. I mean, it stank some, but not like it was like after I first got COVID. Oh man, I'd walk outside and just gag because of the smell. The outside smell had changed for me. So so this morning I made up just a little bit of coffee, since I know that I've been getting more dehydrated. I just had a little bit of coffee and sat outside, and I could definitely smell the not so pleasant smell, but it was not as gaggy as it has been in the past. Okay, so I can add these olives, tomato. I think this cabbage, I'm going to save that for cooking. That was one of my favorite things to eat when I was keto, And that was, what they call it? Keto. Gosh, there's a name for it. I'll think of it like after I post this video. Crack slaw. That was my favorite thing to eat when I was keto before I decided to go carnivore. And so I'm like, you know what, Terry? You should do that. And all these vegetables, I'll probably save some and not put the stuff on them, pour the liquid on them, and then I'll be able to just cook them up. And they won't have the vinegar mix. Man, I am not the best at remembering to read labels, and before I was using balsamic vinegar, and a coworker said, well, honey, that has sugar in it. I'm like, what? It's vinegar. If any vinegar did, I expected red wine maybe. And so I went and I looked at the bottle of balsamic vinegar, and yep, she was right. Sure enough, it had sugar in it. So I trashed that. Like, nope, not today, Satan, not today. So, let's see. Okay. Let's see how I'm going to do those. I think instead of putting them in here, this is pretty dang full. So I think I will top the jars off with like a couple olives and a couple tomatoes and a little bit of these. Asparagus, I'm going to save and cook those. I've never had raw asparagus. Hang on. Let's break one off and see what we think. Alright. Not bad. That was pretty good in there, but nah, I'll cook it. I mean, it tastes fine. Now, no, if I die, you know, it's either the asparagus or the eggplant. Okay, I remodeled a little bit here. I'm laughing. I am probably the worst neighbor. I carried my trash out and I went ahead and poured that oil out. And here I am running around. I did have to go all the way out. But walking around in my booty shorts. I say booty shorts. They're just like nighttime sleep shorts. But you know those kind of shorts are super short. So it's not so much the people that live beside me that I know that I traumatize. It's more of whoever might be across the street and happen to be looking out in that moment. So I went downstairs and pulled out the box. And I already had 4 or 5, but I went ahead and pulled up these are pint-size jars. And then I'm just going to fill these up. Well, not fill them, because in the end I'm going to add some tomatoes and a couple olives. And then I'll pour the liquid in. So basically I'm making not canned pickles. Or not canned vegetables. But yet jarred. But anyway, so... And being this small amount, I know it's not tons of carbs because, you know, I made sure I choose go to dietdoctor.com and they have a list. You can pull off a list of vegetables and it's a pretty cool picture of how many carbs are in which vegetables, and it lists them in order of least to most. So what I did when I was shopping, or well, before I went shopping, I looked at it and I'm like, okay, well, these all have 3 carbs 3 to 4 carbs in a 3 ounce, which I don't even know what 3 ounces is, but they're all about the same carbs and the same amount. So that was good enough for me. So I bought those specific vegetables. Now onions, just so you know, onions do have more carbs, but I try to use onions the same way I use cheese, as a garnishment and not a side dish. So like all these other vegetables that are in here, I bet in the end, we'll just say it's 2 cups. 1.5 to 2 cups of vegetables. But as far as how much it weighs, oh shoot, let's see. Since it said 3 ounces on the website, let's see what we find out. All the carbs were based off of 3 ounces. 5, 7, 5. What was that here? 6. Okay, so at max, the most this would have would be 7 to 8 carbs. And if I only have this once a day, this, because that's what I tend to do, is I take this to lunch, and I take it and eat it at lunchtime at work. And sometimes I have some for supper, and sometimes I don't. And most of the time I don't, but sometimes I do. But so at max, if I ate it twice a day, 6, I'll even say, hang on, max it might be 12 to 15 carbs a day. So I'm satisfied with that. Like I said, I was using those small mouth jars, and it was just so hard to cram these vegetables in. You see, even with these wide mouth ones, it's not particularly easy. So I mean, it's not difficult, don't get me wrong. I'm not whining too hard. I'm getting hot. The oven's going. So I'll finish filling up the rest of these, and then I'll show you the next step. Well, I got my jars filled. Let me show you what I'm pulling out of the oven. Whoop, whoop. Looky here, my breakfast casserole. I think I might make it into 6 today instead of 8. I have extra from when I made it previously last weekend. So jars, I was gonna count them, but it's too many. It's too many. And I'll tell you where I made my mistake. I just got so caught up in filling these jars. What I should have done was made some of them and put in, those little containers, or even Ziploc bags or something. I should have done something, but not put them all in jars. But, because now I got to store them. Got to find a place to put them all in my refrigerator. And it's easier to store and stack up those containers. And I might still end up doing it just for space. So hang on. I got to wipe this off because, And then, as I was filling them, sometimes something would fall out. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm still going to hold on, but don't get dizzy on me. Get a few of these. Because then what I can do is when I want some, I can just pull this out of the refrigerator and eat it. That's what I did before. So, yeah. Let me redistribute this. You don't have to watch. So 3 jars fits in this container. Like I said, these are just so good and stackable. So in other words, I dirtied up 9 jars. I didn't need to. That's all right. There's such a thing known as a dishwasher. And that's where they're going right now. And I'll wash them. When I run the next dishwasher load. The reason why I like the jars is they're so perfect. They fit in my lunchbox. So, yeah. So now, let's do the last 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, let's see. Push them down a little bit. And like I said, if you have trouble with this, if you can't eat these, if you're doing straight carnivore, don't pay this no mind. This is just what I'm doing right now. It's funny, I found out one of my dogs likes tomatoes. The others are not so much. Let me throw it away. Hey, buddy. These are just some extra pickles I have from when I took that charcuterie board to that lady's house. It probably behooved me to move my trash can over to this side while I'm doing cooking, but I'm putting too much pressure on my common sense side. The rest of the black and green olives from that charcuterie board. And we may not have room for any banana peppers this go around, which is just fine. We'll see, we'll see. I gotta wash my hands in just a second. I'm running out of room. Use a slotted spoon, and I can add some. That's why you wash off your counter, because you dumped half of the stuff onto your counter, and you don't want it to be nasty with dog fur. I think that's all we got. So let me see. Put a couple in there and a couple in there. Alright, so that is all of my veggies. Now we move over to the other side. And now I'm going to make up the liquid that I put in the vegetables. Now I'm not saying this is right. I'm not an expert, because to be honest, I would not have ever eaten this before I started doing this most recent addition of vegetables. So do not assume that I know what in the world I'm doing. So that was plain vinegar. I'm double checking. Okay, this is the red wine. Nope, no sugar, 0 carbs. And this is apple cider, same thing. No added sugar. So, I like the flavor of red wine vinegar. So, that's what I'm doing. There's no, not trying to cook it or anything. I'm just trying to warm it up and let it all blend together for some good flavor. And you know what I did not add to my veggies was salt. I was thinking that this morning. I thought, oh, I should add some salt. Well, where is my salt? Oh, shoot. Oh, here it is. So, I'm going to shake some of my real salt on the top of each jar inside of it. Although if I salt this, it'd be the same thing. Alright. Okay then, let's do it. There we go. Now I'm gonna just kind of let all this meld together and simmer. And that will be that. I've got it on my number 3 out of 9 setting. So I'm going to let that simmer. And when it warms up and I know it's all kind of melded, I'll come back to you. You don't need to watch a pot get too warm. Okay, so here's my vinegar stuff. Right there, it's heated up. The salt's dissolved and then whoo, Nelly. I'm not filling these jars up. I'm gonna just kind of add some and see what we have left over. And then I'll go that route. Probably should have let it cool down before because I don't want to necessarily, I'm not trying to cook or wilt the vegetables or anything, but using my funnel so I can make the least amount of mess as possible. And in the end, it's not like I drink or eat the liquid, but it's definitely absorbed in the veggies for flavors. So I'm not trying to fill it up because this isn't a soup. I'm not trying to make a soup that, I'm going to be drinking the broth for, But I also want to make sure I have enough for the 3 plastic containers in the end as well. I'm doing these jars first because I can kind of see and control what I'm putting in them. strong on my eyes and my nostrils. Okay, so that's those. Mess. What I've done before is added a little bit of water in them to kind of fill them up a little bit better, but in order to distribute it all over the vegetables, I've also, my mom told me to go in and turn the jars upside down. I better have enough lids. I am going to cry. I am going to cry. Oh boy. Well, cross my fingers. Shut your mouth. Eat. Looks like I might be 2 lids short. But as long as I have 10 that I can pack in my lunch for work, I can put the other in little containers. Come on. I don't have 10, doesn't look like. I forgot, I just counted 8 a while ago, duh. Well, you know, what I'll do then, since I'm not opposed, those little containers work fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need 5. Sorry, I know that block jumps in your way there. Funny place for a cabinet, you know. The cabinet. Yeah. Okay, so I'll have 5 more jars to wash. You know, you just got to make things work how you make them work. Life ain't perfect, you know. So, life is full of changes and adaptations and adjustments. Life is not a pretty little movie where everything fits in its own little place. Not everything comes together nice and neatly. Always changing and evolving it is. Now I'll add to my shopping list some more lids. Not these. These are the little inserts for the lids. But what I do with that bottle right here? It works for now. Okay, so every day what I've been doing is I have that breakfast casserole, which I'm eating some now. I've shown you that before. I have a breakfast casserole. I have 10 ounces of meat for lunch. Some days I change it up. Like This week I took 1 ounce of this cheese, and I took 2 tablespoons of this Rouse pasta sauce. The ingredients in this were pretty darn clean. It was whole peeled tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, olive oil, roasted garlic, carrots, and salt. So 8 carbs in a half cup. I think there's 4 tablespoons in a 1/4 cup. So basically it's 1 carb per tablespoon. And if I use 2 tablespoons, that's 2 carbs. Calories, we're looking at 110 divided by 8. I'm not doing math on camera. Whatever 110 divided by 8 is. Probably like 15, 17 maybe. Like I said. Oh no, that's probably. Like I said, I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. You can't make me. You can't make me do it. No, you can't. You're not gonna trick me. So, anyway, so lunch, I eat 1 of these and that. And then supper has been ground beef and some kind of maybe cream, like I said earlier, just different toppings. So yeah, now I gotta find a spot for all this. And then I'll show you what I've got this going, which that's nothing, that's just a crock pot. Then I'm gonna show you what 2 suppers, what I did this week. I'll show you in a little bit. Let me kind of clean up this stuff. It's getting on my nerves. It's just swarming on me. Actually, how about I end this video here? You've seen me process my ground beef. All I do is put it in 10-ounce bowls, containers for work. You don't need to watch me do that. And you saw me do these vegetables and what I'm eating. And I told you what I'm taking to work and stuff this week. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video right here. And then I'll make a different video with what I've been doing with the stew meat and how I've been cooking and making that. So yeah, I'm gonna end it here. So this has been an hour too long, I know. It's just hard to remember to push pause and stuff, and I get to chitty-chatting. So, okay, yeah. Have a good day.